The rain started the same day they arrived. Not normal rain. This rain was cold, heavy, strange. Kemi pressed her face against the car window as thunder rolled across the dark sky. The road ahead looked lonely. Tall trees stood silently on both sides like they were watching them. "Mama," Kemi whispered softly, "are we really going to live here?" Mama Busy forced a small smile. "For some time only." Kemi looked back toward the old house standing at the top of the hill. It was huge, old, quiet. The roof looked broken in some places. The windows were dark like empty eyes. Even from far away, the house felt strange. Kemi did not like it. Not one bit. Thunder crashed loudly again. Kola laughed from the back seat. "You look scared." "I'm not scared," Kemi replied quickly. But she was lying. Deep down inside her chest, fear was slowly growing. Mama Busy stopped the car near the house. "This was your grandmother's home before she became sick," she explained. "We will stay here while she gets better." The front door opened slowly before they even knocked. Grandma Ife stood there quietly holding a lantern. Her eyes looked tired. Very tired. "Kemi," she said softly. Kemi ran into her arms immediately. Grandma Ife hugged her tightly. Too tightly. Almost like she was afraid to let go. Then she whispered something strange into Kemi's ear. "Do not go into the attic." Kemi pulled back slowly. "What attic?" But Grandma Ife had already turned away. That night, the storm became worse. Rain hit the roof heavily. The lights kept going off. The old house made strange sounds every few minutes. Creak, creak, creak. Kemi could not sleep. She kept hearing footsteps above her ceiling. Slow footsteps. Like somebody walking carefully. Back and forth. At first she thought it was Kola trying to scare her. But when she checked his room, he was fast asleep. The footsteps continued. Kemi slowly looked upward. The attic. Something was up there. The next morning, she asked Grandma Ife about it while eating breakfast. "Grandma, who stays in the attic?" Grandma Ife stopped eating immediately. Nobody spoke. Even Mama Busy looked uncomfortable. "There is nothing there," Mama Busy said quickly. But Grandma Ife's hands began shaking. Kemi noticed. And that was when curiosity entered her heart. Curiosity is dangerous. Especially in old houses. Later that afternoon, Kola found Kemi standing near the attic stairs. "You're thinking about going up there, right?" Kemi crossed her arms. "No, you are lying." Kemi smiled slightly. "Maybe a little," Kola grinned. "Then let's go together." The attic door was small and covered with dust. Cobwebs hung around it. The air smelled old. Very old. Kemi slowly pushed the door open. Creak. Darkness. Cold darkness. The room was filled with old boxes, broken chairs, torn clothes, and dusty paintings. Rain tapped softly on the roof above them. Kola picked up an old door. "This place is creepy." Then Kemi saw it. At the far corner of the attic. Covered partly with cloth. A wooden mask. It looked beautiful at first. Dark brown wood. Long face. Golden carvings around the eyes. But something about it felt wrong. Very wrong. Kemi slowly walked closer. The air suddenly became colder. Kola frowned. "Don't touch it." But Kemi already had. The moment her fingers touched the mask, the wind exploded through the attic bang. The attic door slammed shut behind them. Kola screamed. Dust flew everywhere. And for one quick second, the mask smiled. Kemi froze. "Did you see that?" Kola stepped backward slowly. "We should leave." immediately. That night, Kemi placed the mask inside her room. She could not explain why. Something about it pulled her closer. Like it wanted her attention. The rain finally stopped after midnight. Everything became silent. Then, tap, tap, tap. Kemi opened her eyes slowly. Someone was knocking on her window. Her heart started beating fast. Tap, tap, tap. She sat up carefully. Outside the window stood a little girl wearing white clothes. Her head was bent downward. Water dripped from her hair. Kemi's breathing stopped. The girl slowly raised her head. Her eyes were completely black. Then she smiled. A terrible smile. Kemi screamed loudly. Mama Busy rushed into the room immediately. What happened? Kemi pointed toward the window, shaking badly. The girl. Outside. But when they checked, nobody was there. Only wet footprints. Leading away from the house. Mama Busy looked frightened now. Very frightened. The next morning, Grandma Ife entered Kemi's room and saw the mask. The old woman gasped loudly. No, her voice shook. Where did you find this? The attic. Grandma Ife quickly grabbed the mask. You should never have touched it. Kemi became angry. Why is everybody hiding things from me? Grandma Ife sat down slowly. Tears filled her eyes. Then finally, she told the truth. Many years ago, she whispered, there was a dancer in this village named Eo. The wind outside became stronger. Eo was loved by everybody. He danced during festivals wearing this mask. Grandma Ife held the mask carefully. But one night, during a celebration, a fire started. Her voice broke. Many people died. Kemi listened quietly. The villagers blamed Eo. They said the mask carried evil spirits. What happened to him? Kemi whispered. Grandma Ife looked away. They locked him inside this house. Silence. And left him to burn alive. Kemi covered her mouth. That's horrible, Grandma Ife nodded slowly. Before he died, Eo cursed the village. Thunder crashed loudly outside. He said the mask would never rest until the truth was known. That night, Kemi could not sleep again. She kept thinking about Eo. About the fire. About the screams. Then slowly, she heard music. Soft drums. Coming from downstairs. Kemi grabbed her lantern carefully and walked out of her room. The hallway was dark. Cold. The drumming became louder. Boom. 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 She followed the sound downstairs. And there, inside the sitting room, the mask was floating in the air. Kemi froze completely. Shadow smoke twisted around it. Then suddenly, the room changed. The walls disappeared. The house became bright with fire. People were screaming everywhere. Running. Crying. And in the middle of the flames stood Eo. Alive. Burning. Looking directly at her. Help me, he whispered painfully. Kemi woke up screaming on the floor. Morning sunlight filled the room. Mama Busy held her tightly. You fainted. But Kemi knew what she saw was real. Very real. Later that evening, Tan arrived with old village newspapers he secretly stole from the library. Kemi, he whispered, the fire story was fake. Kemi looked shocked. What? Tan opened one newspaper slowly. A witness said the fire started because the village chief wanted to destroy evidence. What evidence? Tan swallowed hard. Eo discovered the chief was stealing money from the village. Kemi's eyes widened. They blamed an innocent man. Suddenly, boom. A loud sound came from upstairs. They ran quickly toward Kemi's room. The mask was hanging on the wall. But now, Fresh tears were dripping from its eyes. That was the moment Kemi stopped being afraid. Because she finally understood something. The spirit was not evil. It was hurt. Very hurt. And hurt spirits can become dangerous. That night, Kemi made a decision. She would help Eo. Even if everybody else refused. Grandma Ife begged her not to continue. Mama Busy cried. But Kemi refused to stop. An innocent man suffered, she said firmly. Somebody must tell the truth. Near midnight, Kemi turned, and Grandma Ife entered the attic together. The storm returned immediately. Thunder shook the house violently. The mask glowed dark red. Then slowly, a hidden part of the attic wall opened. Behind it were old documents, letters, photographs, and one final truth. The old village chief started the fire himself. Eo tried to save people, but the chief blamed him to hide his crime. Grandma Ife began crying loudly. All these years, suddenly, the room became freezing cold. The shadow spirit of Eo appeared before them. Tall, covered in ash, eyes full of pain. The house shook violently. Ton stepped backward fearfully. But Kemi moved forward slowly. You were innocent, she whispered. The spirit stared silently. Tears rolled down Kemi's face. We know the truth now. For a long moment, the spirit did not move. Then slowly, the anger in its eyes faded. Kemi carefully lifted the mask. You can rest now. Soft wind moved through the attic. The storm outside slowly stopped. And for the first time in many years, the spirit smiled peacefully. Not a scary smile. A human smile. Then his body slowly disappeared into light. The mask cracked gently in Kemi's hands and turned to dust. Morning came quietly. The rain had ended. Birds sang outside again. Peace had finally returned to the house on the hill. But before leaving the attic, Kemi noticed something strange written softly on the wooden floor. 3 words. Thank you, Kemi. And underneath it, fresh footprints slowly faded away.